Hi, today we're going to be discussing about chapter 1 of Form 5 Mathematics, that is variation. In this topic, we'll be looking at three types of variations, that is direct variation, inverse variation, and also combination variation. So there are a few types of forms in direct variation. We have p varies x, or not p varies in x squared, or even p varies in x times cube. So this we can turn it into equation form, whereby it looks like p equals to k times x, p equals to k times x squared, and also p equals to k times x times cube. So here the k are constant. So let's take a look at the first question. Given p varies directly at the square of r, and p equals to 5 when r is equals to 3. So find the value of r when p is equals to 20. So we need to find the k value. So p varies directly as the square of r. So when we turn this into the equation form, it is p equals to k times r squared. So now we substitute this p equals to 5 and r equals to 3 into this formula right here. So our p is 5 equals to k times r squared, and go ahead and calculate it. So now we can get our k value. Then write it in a proper form. P equals to 5 over 9 times r squared. So now we can find the value of r when p is given 20. So what we do, we take this value right here, we substitute into this formula here. So our p 5 equals to 5 over 9 times r squared. So p is 20 equals to 5 over 9 times r squared. Then do the calculation. R squared so now we can get our r value. Our r value is 6. So let's move on to the next question. The table below shows the changes in three quantities. It is given that p varies directly as the cube of q and r. Calculate the value of x and y. So they given here p varies directly as cube of q and r. So now we change it into the equation form. So p equals to k times q cube times r. So we substitute these values inside here to find the k value. So our p value is 86.4 equals to k. Our q is 1.2 times r, that is 10. Now go ahead and calculate it. $17.28 times k. So our k is 86.4 divided by 17.28, it is 5. Then write it in the proper form. P equals to 5 times q cube times r. Now we can find the x value. So we substitute these values into here. So our p now is equals to x. Our q is equivalent to 2 and r is equivalent to 0.4. So then just calculate it. And our x is 16. Then we can find our y value. So then substitute this into this as well. So our, write this back. So our p is 1.215 equals to 5 times q is y, times r, that is 9. Go ahead and calculate it. So we should be getting the answer 0.3. Alright. So now we got both our x value and y value. X is equal to 16 and y is equal to 0.3. Now let's take a look at inverse variation. So in inverse variation there are a few different types of form, such as p varies inversely in q, and then we have p inversely varies inversely q squared, or not, p varies inversely q times x squared. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take let's look at the question. A company prints a certain number of books every day. The table below shows the number of printing machines in operation, m, and the time needed, t, to print the books. It is given that t varies inversely at m. So we know t varies inversely of m. So when we change this into the equation form, it should be t equals to k over m. So let's go ahead and solve the a. So we need to find the k value first. So we substitute these values into this formula here. So write this back. Then we substitute t is equivalent to 10, k we are finding it, and m is equivalent to 6. Then calculate it. Then k is equivalent to 60. Then we can find the b question. So find both p and q values. So before that we need to write this. Since we found out the k value, we need to write it in a proper form. So t equals to 60 over m. Okay, now we find both p and q values. So we substitute this into this to find p. So t is equivalent to p and m equivalent to 8. then calculate it. I'm getting the answer 7.5. Then we find the cube. As well, we substitute in here. So t is 4 and m is q. Then we calculate it. The answer is 15. So now we know both the p and x values, that is 7.5 and q is 15.
Hi, today we're going to learn chapter 1.3, combined variation. So combined variation is a combination of direct variation and inverse variation. So combined variation, y varies directly as x power m and inversely as x power n. So it is written as y proportion x power m and over x power n. This is variation relation. And for the equation form, we can write it as y equals to k x power m and over x power n. So here we got a couple of examples, so let's just go through it. So for the example 1, write the relation using the simple proportion and in the equation form for each of the following. So for number A, P varies directly as Q and inversely as square root R. So P varies directly as Q and inversely as square root R. So in the equation form, you can write it as P equals to K Q over square root R. That's A. So for B, y varies directly as the square of w and inversely as the cube of x. So y varies directly as the square of w and the cube of x. So it is y equals to k w square over x cube. And for the C, the volume of a prism V varies directly as the area of cross-section A and its height h. So volume of the prism V varies directly as the area of the cross-section A and its height h. So we will write it as like this. So for the equation form, we can write V equals to K A H. So that's it for example 1. Now let's see example 2. The table below shows the values of P, Q, and R. It is given that P varies directly as the cube of Q and inversely as R. So calculate the values of X and Y. So P varies directly as the cube of Q and inversely as R. So first we change it to equation form, which is P equals to K Q Q and R. Right. So to find value of X, we need to find K first, because here got 4 unknown and we only the question only give 2 values, so we need to find one more value so that we can find X and Y. So let us find K with the given the first column. So P equals to K Q cube R, and P is equal to 4, Q is equal to 2, and R is 0.6. So we move 0.6 to here, so it's 4, 0.6, 8K. 8k, and 2.4 equals to 8k, and k is equal to 3/10. So from here we can write the new equation, which we substitute the k into the equation. So the new equation will be p equals to 3q cubed and 10r. So now we can find the values for x. So p equals to 3q cubed, 10r. P is 3.6, Q is 6, and 10x. So we move the bottom one to here. So it's 3.6 times 10x equals to 648. So 36x equals to 648, and x is equal to 18. So now let us find y. So for the same thing, we put the equation first, then p is equal to 0.081, 3, q we don't know, and 10, 2.7. So move everything to the left side, so we can get 729 over 1000 equals to y cubed. So y square root 729 over 1000. So y equals to 9/10. So y will be equal to 0.9. So that's all for combined variation, and thank you for listening.